President Bongbong Marcos is now back home after his first official trip to Saudi Arabia. Militant group Hamas has released 2 American hostages, the first since its surprise attack on Israel on October 7. And after a series of rollbacks, motorists may once again see an increase in the prices of fuel products next week. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Maricel Halili. We begin the newscast with President Bongbong Marcos returning to the country following his official trip to Saudi Arabia. Marcos Jr. arrived in Pasay City around 3 p.m. today after his participation in the first ever ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council Summit. During his trip, the president secured over $4 billion worth of investment pledges from Arab business leaders. These are supposed to benefit thousands of Filipinos from the construction and human resources services sector. Aside from this, Marcos also assured that the unpaid wages of over 10,000 OFWs who lost their jobs in 2015 and 2016 will be settled by the Middle Eastern country soon. The president, however, did not disclose further details on the matter. To wrap up his trip, Marcos met with the Filipino community in Riyadh, where he reported outcomes of his visit. COMELEC has started removing illegal campaign materials for the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Among the campaign materials taken down are those attached in posts, fences, and electric lines. Candidates are reminded that posters and tarpaulins should carry a size of 2 by 3 feet and should only be put up in public markets, barangay centers, and plazas. The poll body has since warned that candidates may be disqualified for failing to follow these rules.
Kung araw-araw kayo magkakabit illegally, araw-araw din kami magbabaklas. Makuryente pa po yung nagsasabit niyan. Matagal na pong kumita yan, hindi na po kikita ngayon yan. The fact na naandyan yung mga pagmumukha nila, sila man o hindi nagkabit, dapat tanggalin po nila lahat yan. Patigasan ng labanan, kaso ang haharapin ng bawat isa.
As of Friday, 341 candidates have been issued show-cause orders for illegal campaigning, while thousands of show-cause orders have also been issued for premature campaigning. Because of this, some 165 candidates are facing disqualification cases. The campaign period will last until October 28. According to the PNP, the first day of the campaign period was generally peaceful, but they remain vigilant.
Mas mainit po talaga yung local elections compared sa national election dahil nga unang-una ang mga kandidato po dito ay magkakalugar, magkakamag-anak, magkakaibigan, magkakakilala. So yung personal emotions ay nadadala.
After weeks of rollbacks, fuel prices are expected to climb once again next week. Unioil Philippines sees diesel products becoming more expensive by up to ₱1.50 per liter. Prices of gasoline are also projected to go up by up to ₱1.10 a liter. The Energy Department attributes the potential increase to depletion of crude oil stocks in the United States, as well as to the Israel-Hamas conflict. Oil companies will announce final price adjustments on Monday, which takes effect the following day. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Maricel Halili. Attorney Melvin Matibag has resigned as Secretary General of PDP Laban, the political party chaired by former President Rodrigo Duterte. In an earlier interview here on One News Now, Matibag cited differences in opinion with the party leadership, particularly on confidential and intelligence funds, as the driver of his resignation. Matibag believes civilian offices like the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education should not be given CIFs. He clarified, however, that there is no internal squabble among members of the party.
There's really no confidential fund or intelligence funds allocated to the Office of the Vice President and other civil agencies like Department of Education, Department of Transportation, and other more agencies like the Department of Trade and Industry. So yun yung position ko, and somehow baka some of the party mates did not accepted yung position ko, but that's really an objective opinion from my point of view. Tingin ko medyo hindi siya kasi sang-ayon doon sa posisyon na dapat nabigyan ng confidential fund ng Office of the Vice President.
No,
so
sir.
I think with that article, baka kailangan siguro at give it to somebody else na who will agree to their position.
Matibag also said that he has no intention of joining any other political parties and that his position in PDP Laban was just no longer tenable while he holds different beliefs. In other news, the remains of two overseas Filipino workers who were killed in Israel and Jordan will be brought home soon. The remains of an OFW caregiver who was killed by Hamas at the onset of the Israel-Gaza conflict are arriving today. She refused to leave her patient, an elderly Israeli citizen, when Hamas fighters rampaged through their kibbutz and peppered their shelter with ammunition fire. Once in the country, her casket will be taken to her home province, Negros Occidental, tomorrow, Sunday. Meanwhile, the remains of a Filipino household service worker murdered in Amman, Jordan last week are also due for repatriation to the country this afternoon. A suspect who admitted to committing the crime is already in the custody of Jordanian police. The case has been documented and elevated for court proceedings. The DMW and OWA will facilitate the processing of benefits due her family and beneficiaries. The Hamas group has released two American hostages who were abducted in its attack on southern Israel on October 7. Mother and daughter Judith and Natalie Raanan were taken from Nahal Oz kibbutz near the Gaza border while on their way to a military base in central Israel. They were the first hostages to be freed since Hamas burst into Israel nearly 2 weeks ago. Abu Ubaida, a spokesperson for Hamas's armed wing, said the two were released in response to Qatari mediation efforts. A team from the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv is expected to meet with Judith and Natalie. There are still 10 Americans who remain unaccounted for since the attack. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again tomorrow as we monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Maricel Halili. We are One News.